Hey everybody, it's Sarah. I am here with your Spark for Sunday, April the 3rd, 2016. Today I'm going to be talking about shifting your paradigms to become a more effective person. And sometimes this topic is a little bit more for your personal life than maybe your business life, but I hope you enjoy it. And I'll start with the word paradigm. If the word paradigm isn't super familiar to you, I'm going to start with a definition, I guess you'd say. And I've got some notes down here in front of me, so if you see me look down, that is why I've prepared some stuff for you today. A paradigm is the way that we see, understand, and interpret the world. It's kind of like our mental map. I want you to think about it as like your lens or your glasses. And through that lens is the way that you see the world. And you see the world as you. And sometimes it's hard to see the world as more than just through your eyes and your lens and thinking about other people. And of course, that's what we strive for, and that's what we want to do. And it might be something that you need to work on. So I'm hoping today that you will be able to work on that based on some of the stuff I tell you. Okay, let's see here. My notes are out of order. Give me just a second here. To get you started off with paradigms and just kind of maybe what some of your paradigms are, I'm going to do a quick word association activity with you. I'm going to give you some words, and I want you to, you can write these down if you want, or you can just think about them. Think about what comes to your mind first, or what you associate with that particular word. And we'll start with the word politicians. What do you think about when you hear the word politicians? Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What about the word money? What comes to your mind when you hear the word money? Health. What do you associate with that word? And what about the word time? What do you associate with that word? By looking at some of those just very basic word associations are some clues into just some of your paradigms and the way that you see the world. And it's time to start analyzing some positivity or some negativity there in your life. I'd like to tell you a story about a man named Dr. Stephen Covey, and he is the author of The 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. And Dr. Covey wrote that book in the 80s, and he has since passed on, and his family continues his legacy of teaching and training people to become more effective based on these particular 7 habits. And Dr. Covey has told this story about a time that really impacted him and caused a big shift in his just paradigm and just the way that he sees the world. And so I'll try to recreate this story for you, and I'll tell you this story that Dr. Covey tells about paradigm shifts. And it goes like this. He said, one day I was on the subway after a long day, and at the next stop enters a man and his 2 children. And the man sits down, and his kids are just running like crazy up and down the aisle, just loud and obnoxious and kicking things around and even tearing a newspaper out of somebody's hand. And Dr. Covey said that he just couldn't believe the man wasn't doing anything about his kids. And after it went on for a little bit, he leaned over to the guy and said, "Sir, can you do something about your kids? Can't you control them?" And the man said, he sighed and he said, "You're right. I do need to do something about them. I do need to control them. You see, but I just don't think they know how to handle their current situation. And maybe I don't either. You see, we just left the hospital where their mother passed away, and this is our ride home." Wow. What if you were in that situation? Would you have reacted the same way that Dr. Covey reacted? Would you have been annoyed and thought, why are these kids acting crazy? Why isn't this dad doing anything about it? But you had no idea what was going on in their lives. At that moment, he was only seeing the world through his lens and his paradigms without considering the other person without considering what was going on in their world. And Dr. Covey was able to realize he needed to shift his paradigm in that situation because he gained some new information when that guy told him what was going on. We need to be open to information. We need to be open to some places where we might need to shift our paradigms. So I'll ask you, how do you know if it's time to shift some of your paradigms? Maybe you can consider just a few of those word associations that I did with you. Some ones that might relate to your Jamberry business are time, money, things like that you need to start considering how you see those things and how you react to those things. You know that you need to shift a paradigm if you aren't getting the desired results. You're not getting the outcomes that you need. That means it's time to change. It's time to start changing a behavior, which in turn will help you literally shift the way that you see things and do things and experience life. I'm going to give you a quote from Dr. Covey here, and I'm going to read it to you. We think we see the world as it is, when in fact we see the world as we are. We think we see the world as it is, when in fact we see the world as we are. Think about that. We see the world as we are. We don't see the world as it is. Different people see different parts of life and different situations in a different manner because they see it through their own paradigms. So how does this apply to your life? And how does this apply to your Jamberry business? Are you getting desired results? Are you getting the outcomes that you want and that you need? Or is it time to change your behavior and time to shift some of your paradigms? Maybe it's time to believe that you can get better results, that you can change and you can shift. And thinking about your Jamberry business, maybe it's time to look at some training for yourself. Have you done Jamberry University? That is right there for you for free, a free resource right there in our workstation. Is it time to try something new? Is it time to think outside of the box? Is it time to get off of being stagnant and doing things the way that you've always done them? If you're not getting the results that you want, it's time to make a change and it's time to make a shift. You've got to believe that you can do it. I'm just going to leave you with a quote, and I hope this has gotten you thinking a little bit. If you want to make minor changes in your life, work on your behavior. But if you want to make significant quantum breakthroughs, work on your paradigms.